Open the cabinet under your kitchen sink right now. Count the bottles. There's a degreaser, an oven cleaner, a grout spray, something for the stovetop, something for the tub, something for hard water stains, a drain product you bought once and used twice. The average American household keeps somewhere between 15 and 30 cleaning products in the house at any given time. The surface cleaners alone, just the ones that cut grease and pull stains, run $120 to $240 a year. And here's the part that should bother you. Most of those bottles are the same thing, same active ingredient, dissolved in water, scented, dyed, poured into a plastic bottle with a trigger sprayer and a label that says kitchen or bathroom or heavy duty. The ingredient itself is a white powder that's been sitting on the bottom shelf of your laundry aisle for as long as you've been shopping there. $5 a box. You've walked past it 1,000 times. The powder's called washing soda, not baking soda. That's the weaker version, and it's not what we're talking about. Washing soda. And once you see what it does to grease, you'll understand why every product under your sink is built on top of it. When this powder hits hot water, it does something to grease that nothing else under your sink does as well. It doesn't loosen grease. It doesn't push it around, it converts it. The grease molecules break apart and turn into soap. The grime becomes its own cleaning agent and rinses itself away. A lab tested this, published in the Journal of Surfactants and Detergents in 2021, and the number that came back was 94%. 94% of bacon grease removed from stainless steel in 90 seconds. Most people think baking soda does the same thing. It doesn't. Same test, same surface, same grease. Baking soda removed 22%, at double the concentration. Baking soda is the mild version of this powder. It's fine for absorbing fridge odors and scrubbing a coffee mug. But for the kind of grease that builds up in an oven, coats a stovetop, or lines the inside of a drain pipe, it doesn't have the strength. Washing soda does. That's the whole difference. Same family, different muscle. Okay, so let me show you what you're actually paying for when you buy the bottles. Because this is the part that got me. Start with the kitchen degreaser. The spray bottle, $5 to $7. Flip it over and look at the active ingredients. You'll find an alkaline compound, usually sodium carbonate or something built on top of it, dissolved in water with a fragrance and a surfactant. That's the product. Water, a few cents of powder, and a smell. You're paying $6 to have someone dissolve this in water for you and put it in a plastic bottle. Now the oven cleaner, the can or the gel in the heavy-duty section, $7 to $9. Most of them are a stronger alkaline solution in a thicker carrier so it sticks to vertical surfaces. The chemistry that's dissolving the baked-on grease, the actual reaction happening on the surface, is the same one. An alkaline mineral converting fat into something water can wash away. The grout spray, $6 to $8, same idea in a different bottle. The tub and tile scrub, the hard water stain remover, the washing machine cleaning tablets, $8 for a box of 4. Flip those over too. Most of them are sodium carbonate and sodium percarbonate pressed into a tab. That's the whole product. Same mineral. New packaging. A box of Arm & Hammer. Super washing soda at Walmart runs $5.38, 55 ounces. Most cleaning jobs use a quarter cup, about 2 ounces. One box gets you roughly 25 uses. That's about 20 cents a use. The spray bottle it replaces costs $6. You're paying 30 times more for water and a trigger sprayer. And here's something I kept coming back to. You don't even have to buy the box. You can make this powder from the baking soda that's already in your kitchen. Spread it on a baking sheet, ½ an inch thick, and bake it at 400 degrees for 1 hour. The heat changes the chemical structure, drives off water and carbon dioxide, and converts sodium bicarbonate into sodium carbonate. When it comes out, it looks a little grainier and a little duller. That's washing soda. You just made the active ingredient in half the bottles under your sink for about $1. America's Test Kitchen published this exact conversion. But knowing what it is and knowing what to do with it are two different things. All right, so here's how you actually use it. Surface by surface. Because the box doesn't tell you most of this. Start with the oven. This is the one that surprised me most. Mix the powder with just enough water to make a thick paste. You want the consistency of peanut butter, thick enough to stick to a vertical surface without dripping. Spread it across the inside of the oven with a sponge or a brush. Get into the corners. Coat the door glass. Avoid the heating elements and any bare metal. Close the door and leave it overnight, at least 8 hours. When you open it in the morning, the paste has dried into a white crust. Underneath that crust, the baked-on grease and carbon that's been building up for months has softened. Spray it with water from a spray bottle to loosen the dried paste. Wipe it out with a damp cloth. It comes off in sheets, no fumes, no spray can, no closing the kitchen door and hoping the chemicals don't reach the living room. For the stubborn spots in the corners, a second coat overnight finishes the job. America's Test Kitchen tested this against the commercial oven cleaners and rated it their top recommendation. For your stovetop, same paste, damp sponge. Work it in small circles across the burner grates, the drip pans, the flat surface around them. The cooked-on splatters and grease films break down on contact. Rinse the sponge, wipe clean, rinse again. It doesn't scratch glass cooktops or stainless steel because the powder dissolves completely. Once it's wet, there's no grit left to do damage. For grout, press the paste into the grout lines with your finger or an old toothbrush. Let it sit for 10 to 15 minutes. You'll see the paste start to darken as it pulls the grime out. Scrub with the brush, rinse with clean water. The grout lines come back closer to the color they were when the tile went in. No bleach, no fumes, and unlike bleach, which whitens the surface without actually removing the stain, this pulls the dirt out of the grout itself. For a daily kitchen spray, dissolve a 1/4 cup in a quart of hot water. Stir until the powder disappears. Pour it into any empty spray bottle. That's your all-purpose degreaser. Countertops, backsplash, range hood, cabinet fronts, especially the ones near the stove that get that sticky film you can never quite get off. Same thing you've been buying in a bottle for $6, except this costs about 20 cents and you made it at your kitchen sink in 30 seconds. For hard water stains, the white, crusty buildup on faucets and shower heads that never seems to go away, dissolve 1/2 cup in a quart of warm water. Soak a cloth in it, wrap the cloth around the fixture, and leave it for 15 to 20 minutes. The mineral deposits soften and wipe clean. If you live in a hard water area, and most of America does, this is actually one of the things it does best. The powder binds to the calcium and magnesium, causing the stains, and loosens their grip on the surface. For clogged or slow drains, pour 1/2 cup of the dry powder straight down the drain. Follow it with a full kettle of boiling water. The alkaline solution sits in the pipe and dissolves the grease buildup that's narrowing the opening. Do this once a week, and you're doing drain maintenance for about 10 cents a treatment instead of $5 to $8 for a bottle of commercial drain cleaner. And here's the thing about the commercial stuff. It's formulated to react fast and rinse fast. This sits in the pipe and works slowly, which is actually better for dissolving buildup over time. For burnt pots and pans, fill the pot with hot water, add 2 tablespoons of the powder, and let it sit overnight. In the morning, the baked-on layer has softened. A wooden spoon or a sponge takes it right off. That crusty Dutch oven you've been ignoring in the back of the cabinet, 2 tablespoons and 12 hours. For your washing machine, run an empty hot cycle with a cup of washing soda in the drum. It dissolves the residue from detergent, fabric softener, and hard water that coats the inside of the drum and the rubber gasket. That's what causes the mildew smell in front loaders. Those $8 cleaning tablets are mostly this powder pressed into a tab. Same job, 20 cents. And as a laundry booster, 1/2 cup in the drum with your regular detergent. The label on the box itself says it improves detergent performance by up to 15% on stains like mustard and blood. It softens the water so your detergent can actually do its job instead of spending half its energy fighting the minerals in the water. That's not a DIY claim. That's what the manufacturer says it's for. That's 9 uses, 9 bottles it replaces. Call it $100 a year in cleaning products. Conservatively, replaced by a box that costs $5 and lasts months. The first time you wipe out your oven on a Saturday morning, no fumes, no chemical smell filling the kitchen, just a damp cloth lifting off months of buildup in long, clean strips. You'll feel the gap between what this costs and what you've been paying. Not on a receipt. In the room. The oven looks the way it did when you moved in. The cloth is black with everything that came off. And you spent 20 cents. Now, a few things worth being straight about, because this is where the trust lives. This does not replace dish soap. Dish soap is a surfactant. It grabs grease and lets water rinse it off a plate in real time. Washing soda needs heat and time to work. You can't squirt it on a dinner plate and rinse. For daily dishwashing at the sink, you still need soap. It doesn't disinfect either. It cleans, but it doesn't kill bacteria or viruses. If you're sanitizing a cutting board or cleaning up after someone's been sick, you need a separate disinfectant. Wear rubber gloves when you use it. It's a strong alkaline, and it'll dry your skin out with repeated contact. Don't use it on aluminum. It discolors and pits the metal. Don't use it on waxed floors or finished wood. It strips the finish. And don't mix it with vinegar. They're chemical opposites. They cancel each other out, and you end up with water that cleans nothing. Use them for different jobs. What it does replace is the 8 to 10 bottles that are all doing the same job, applying an alkaline mineral to a greasy or stained surface and rinsing it away. For that job, which is most of what actually happens in your kitchen and your bathroom, the $5 box handles it. If you want to try one thing before you commit to any of this, start with the oven. It's the most dramatic result. It takes the least effort, and by the morning after, you'll already know whether this is real. The powder has no scent, which throws some people off at first. If your brain needs the smell of clean to believe the surface is clean, add a few drops of essential oil to your spray bottle mix. Doesn't change the cleaning power, just gives you the signal you're used to. Store the box in a sealed bag or a jar with a tight lid. The powder pulls moisture from the air and clumps if you leave it open. If it clumps, it still works. Just break it up. You can pick it up at Walmart, Target, most grocery stores, or order it on Amazon. It's in the laundry aisle, bottom shelf, yellow box. Says super washing soda on the front and detergent booster and household cleaner underneath. If your store doesn't carry it, look for soda ash in the pool supply section. Same molecule, often cheaper per pound. Keep it where you keep the rest of your cleaning products, up high, away from kids and pets. If it gets on skin, rinse with water. It's not as caustic as commercial drain cleaner or oven spray, but it's not baking soda either. Treat it like what it is, a useful chemical that deserves basic respect. The U.S. cleaning product supply chain moves about $60 billion a year. Every player in that chain, the bottle manufacturer, the fragrance company, the label printer, the retailer collecting slotting fees for eye-level shelf space, gets paid when you reach for a $7 spray bottle. Nobody in that chain makes $1 when you pick up the $5 box in the next aisle and dissolve it in water yourself. The powder is in the laundry aisle. The degreaser it replaces is in household cleaning. The oven cleaner is 2 sections over. The grout spray is in bathroom. The drain product is in plumbing. 5 aisles. 5 price tags. 1 ingredient. And nobody stocking any of those shelves is going to walk you to the laundry aisle and tell you the yellow box on the bottom shelf does what all of them do. That's not a conspiracy. There's no villain. The box is right there, and it's been right there for decades. It just doesn't have a marketing department. The 12 bottles it replaces do. 1 box, 1 powder. The oven you've been avoiding, the grout that's been getting darker for a year, the drain that gurgles every time you run the sink, the stovetop you scrub every week with a product that costs 30 times more than the ingredient inside it. All of it is sitting on the bottom shelf of an aisle you walk through every week, in a box that costs less than the cheapest bottle it replaces. The powder didn't change. The price didn't change. The only thing that keeps changing is how many ways they find to sell it back to you. If that's the kind of thing worth knowing, subscribe. There's more coming.